press it.
Okay.
Lights come on in the quiet room. Coffee rings on a wooden desk. We've been chasing better ways to build with half an idea and a hopeful guess. Screens glow like constellations, questions typed instead of said. We're all just trying to make sense of what tomorrow needs instead. They said you gotta start from scratch, whiteboard scars and broken floors. But what if you could speak the need and let the shape of it unfold? From a prompt to a plan, from a thought to a hand that reaches for something real. It's not magic, it's momentum. It's learning how to feel your way through the wires and code. From a prompt to a plan. We're not building alone. He's been teaching through a camera lens, late nights turning why into how. Says the tool don't steal your craft, it just helps you see it now. You upload scars from legacy days, screenshots of the mess you found, and suddenly the chaos starts laying tables in the ground. Databases like quiet bones holding up the skin and soul. It asks the questions you forgot, draws lines where none were drawn. You still decide what stays, what grows. AI just helps you move along. From a prompt to a plan, from a need to a map that finally makes some sense. Flows, apps, and quiet agents waiting on your next intent. It's a blueprint, not a prison. You can redraw where you stand. Still holding the pen, citizen hands and pro dev minds meeting somewhere in between. Governance like guardrails, not walls you've never seen. You iterate, you pull it back, you teach it what you mean. The future is an instant, it's intentional and clean. Just because it's faster.
Awesome, nice music. Again, one of those styles that I like much more. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the M365 show. I'm, as you, I think, at this point already know, I'm Foto, and I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Marcel and Isabel, or Isabel and Marcel, and as always, the Dobby in the background, Mirko. Today, we are diving into one of the most exciting innovations in Power Platform, Plan Designer, the AI-powered tool that's transforming how we build business solutions. And also thank you to our sponsor, M365Con. I heard we prepared something for it, right?
Yeah. Do we have something right now or in a little bit later?
I think a little bit later.
Okay.
As long as Mirko has not published something. Otherwise, I would think I would hand over to you, Isabel.
Show this at the end.
Yeah, then let's do it at the end. Over to Isabel.
Alrighty. Well, and we had the perfect guest to explore this with us with plan designer Andrew Hess, Power Platform YouTuber, application developer, and a go-to resource for makers worldwide. Andrew, we're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to say that music was so good. Like, we got to copyright that. That was from a prompt to a plan. Oh my goodness. Okay. I couldn't get over how good that music was. That was all AI, right?
Yes, it was Suno version 5.
Wow. That was so good. Wow.
So I take a look before. So your hometown. What is the favorite music there? And I saw our indie pop. I said, okay, I will take a look. In the last show we had a female voice, and I want to now to take a male voice. And I heard the song. I said, wow, perfect voice, and I hope so.
Who was
I'm happy that you
who
like
was
it.
the guest with the polka music?
Okay, this was the Amy Diamond.
Piercing my ears. Okay.
So Andrew, before we jump into the plan designer, tell us about your journey at the Power Platform.
Oh, okay. So I guess I started as a project management consultant way back when. I was doing Microsoft Project Online, and I was moving people from on-prem to the cloud. And then I slowly started getting into SharePoint, deep diving into SharePoint. SharePoint's like my bread and butter now. And then what happened was COVID came, and my boss was like, we need an app. And, you know, I was a full stack developer. They were like, we need an app like yesterday to put people in housing. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so in 2 days, I built an app with Power Apps, and it was ready, published. At first, it had a SharePoint backend, but then it went to, like, after a few days, we had the data team build a SQL. And so then we reconnected it to SQL on-prem. And that's kind of where my journey began. And then I started going Power Apps, Power Automate, Copilot Studio, and I kind of grew from there. So that was the past 4 to 5 years. Since COVID, it's just pure Power Platform.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. You build an app in 2 days and you don't know what's going on. That's very impressive. I would say when I started, it took me at least months to understand what the heck is going on. But then again, I didn't come from a pro code background. That's probably the biggest blocker, I would say. Do you have anything else you would like to share before we get started?
I don't know. I'm very happy to be here. Happy holidays, everybody. It's I love your hat, Marcel. So hope everyone enjoys the session. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get started with the basics. So Plan Designer is being called the game changer for solution design. Andrew, can you explain what Plan Designer is and what problem does it solve?
So the way I describe Plan Designer is Copilot first. Think AI first. Everything you're doing with Power Apps is Copilot first, right? And it's before, when you have makers, they're going to spend 20% time, if they plan at all. Sometimes people don't even plan. They're going to spend 20% time planning, 80% time developing. So we're flipping that now. 80% plan, 20% develop. And I really think that's awesome because you can store all your documentation. This is for everybody. This is not just for makers. This is for pro code people. This is for your C-class people, right? You have a plan. This is for your architects. You can get a view of people's plans, all your makers. This is for everyone. It's not just for your low-code maker. I think the Plan Designer is going to change the Power Platform completely. It's really awesome to go plan first instead of developing first.
Awesome. So basically, it's essentially a Copilot first development tool where you describe your business need in natural language, and it generates a complete solution blueprint. What makes this different from traditional app building in Power Apps?
So a lot of times people watch us YouTubers and they jump in and they just start building. And you don't put in the work for an entity relationship diagram, like to show how these tables talk to each other, which ones the relationships are one-to-many relationships. You actually don't have a plan. You don't build out user stories, which is very useful in agile project management, right? A lot of people don't do user stories like, okay, the admin does this, the user does that. And it's an iterative approach, just kind of like Copilot Studio. As soon as you start building, then Copilot gives you a great start. And then You do an iterative approach. Oh, I want this color to change. I want this to be bold. Move this to the left. And that's kind of that iteration that happens instead of more of like a waterfall project management where you kind of, build piece by piece. It's iterative back and forth.
Really cool. So I work a lot with Cloud Anthropic, yeah, and I love it. Why I have now the possibility to describe and get something back. Yeah, for example, I would describe an app, and I will get a clickable dummy and something like that. Is it possible to upload a process diagram or screenshot from legacy apps or from a Claude result, and to get an output from the plan designer?
Oh yeah, so right now you can upload your documents. I believe you can do images. Like there's some things that maybe you can't do a certain file type, but yeah, you can upload documents and it will use that in its prompt engineering and produce out the tables for you. So if you drew out like on a session, drew out your entity relationship diagram with all your tables, it will literally mimic that, and it works pretty well.
That sounds really interesting. I think so. So if we could take a look to the plan designer.
Ooh, okay, yeah, let's take a look. Let's see here. So, do you want me to go over the old way and the new way right now, or I kind of want to go over both?
Yeah, I think both are perfect.
All right, so this is the old way, which is not that old. It's still, a lot of it's still in preview. And so I have some different prompts. I put some together. And let's see here. I want to start with, let's do this one here. I have one on building an animal house solution. And this is one that I used in the new way. And you can see I have, make sure I'm zoomed in really well here. It's just, I want to build a housing solution to track animals at my clinic. I do work a lot for the government. So a lot of the, work for the clinic, as I was saying, when COVID came, I was housing people. A lot of my work is for the government. So that's kind of where my background is. And so I'm just going to take this prompt. Actually, before I do that, let me just test and show you. Test and show all outputs. I want to show that this is not just Power Apps. Show Power BI, show agents, show automate, show Power Apps. And so right here, you can actually add files if you want to. So I'm not sure what I have available, but you can add files if you wanted to. I do have some in there, but I just want to show how where the old one was and where it's going. And then we'll do like a real actual process. But you can see how it's generating those user stories. And you can see in one of my other prompts here, I had my own user stories here. I think this is very useful. I'm used to the agile project management. As I said, I was a project manager first. So I kind of have like very brief user stories. This is something that I would come up with as a team. And during my plan, we would kind of draw out the user stories. And then this is my prompt. And I would put all of that in here. And while that's generating, you can see it came out with user requirements. And up here on the top right, you can see you have different agents. So each of these agents is grounded in its own knowledge, right? So the requirements agents, it's going to build out user requirements, the purpose of the plan, the business problem. And that's why this is so awesome for everyone. It's not just for the low code maker. And you can come in here, thumbs up, thumbs down if you want. This is going to be beneficial for Microsoft. It's going to help it become a better agent or a better model. You can edit it if you want to. You can come in here straight in there and edit it and just be like, change something if you want to. You can say it looks good, and that's going to move it on to the next agent. And so the next agent is the process agent. And this is just in the old way. I don't know what to call it, if it's the old way or the new way. But the process agent is going to think about the processes, the workflows that you maybe need in your environment. And so each one of these agents we're going to walk through. And you'll notice here we have the data agent and the solution agent. And I want to think about this as like, this is your team. Like you have me, I'm the human, keep the human in the loop. And then you have these agents, and each of these are part of your team. And this builds out the processes. If we went in there, we could see the processes. We can map it out. All this documentation, to me, as an architect, is beautiful, because now I can overwatch all of my makers, right? As an admin, I can overwatch them and understand their apps, or actually their solutions. So I'm going to keep going through the data and say looks good. And look at how it's not just Power Apps. This is Power BI dashboard, Power App, Power Automate Flow, Agent. This is everything. And some of them work. Some of them are in preview. So let's see here. This one is in, I believe Power BI is in preview, but we also have Power Apps, and you can replace with an existing. You can edit the tables. I'm still in the data model. I just realized I'm still in the data model, but when we keep going, we can see this one is Power BI. And notice when I hover over, it's kind of grayed out because that's still in preview. But we have a model-driven app, another model-driven. We have a Power Automate Flow. We have different agents. And you can see I have 2 model-driven apps. I can just be like, no, I want to convert this to Canvas. I want this to actually be a Canvas app, and it's going to do that right there for you. And it's really cool. It will build out your solution. And any questions that you have for me yet? I know I'm going pretty fast. I'm going to keep going.
Fine.
So pretend this is like a cooking show. I put all my ingredients in the oven, and I got my cake already made. So here's my cake already made. This is the same prompt, right? And so it came out, but it's not on the animals. It was my other prompt. And this is what it produced. And all I did was add images in here. And we have a full working Power App here. So it completely works. It uses Dataverse, the backend. You have lookup columns. So these are our budget codes. Our budget codes match to our licenses. So this is fully working, writes to Dataverse, and it's already saving. And right here, you can see it is, it can be worked on offline. So using Dataverse backend, it can be worked with offline. We have a beautiful Power App, and this literally takes a few minutes to build. I wanted to kind of show more about using Copilot Studio, or actually Copilot. People come to me, and I actually saw this with someone saying on LinkedIn, and they said, one thing I hate the most is I hate going through Power Apps and renaming everything. Right? Because you should rename everything. And I was like, well, you could get Copilot to do that, or another LLM. And the way that I do it is I come in here to the more options, I click view code, and this shows me the YAML code, right? So I have my YAML code here. I can press copy code. And you could go to a new screen. Let's say we had a new screen, and you just press Control V and paste it in. It makes a copy of that. But what I really like is to open up Copilot. Just going to open up normal Copilot and go to GPT-5, and I'm going to prompt it and say, I want to rename my controls. Make a table of them first. And this is where prompt engineering comes into play. For galleries, do gal, etc. And let's rename my controls. Do not change my code. Let's go over the table first. And I'm going to paste in that YAML. And so what it's going to do is it's actually going to go in there and rename all my controls after we kind of look over them. I like to, when I go to Copilot, I like to say it's a conversation. It's not a one prompt and done. A lot of people build out these giant prompts. I like to have conversations. And so I can kind of, before it prints out the YAML code, I can look over it and say, yeah, that looks good. Or if I want to say rectangle, I could say, for rectangle, change to SHP, which is for shape. So it's like, oh, okay, make that little bit of difference. It prints out the new table. And now I say, this looks great. Give me the YAML. And so now I'm literally having it print out the YAML. And because I've done this in a demo a few times, I know it made a mistake. This is where the pro code helps a little bit more. As I know right here at the dash, there should be a dash right in here. So if I tried to do it, it wouldn't work. I said there should be a dash before con main, right? I know that that's not going to work. And this is where people come to me with questions. They're like, hey, it didn't work. I press copy. I come in here, I paste. It's like, oh no, something's wrong. And it's talking about the con main, right? So the code was not perfect. Let me see if I can get back to it. But I'm having that conversation. And it's like, oh, you're absolutely right. Of course, right? That's how AI always talks to you. You're always right. It's your little cheerleader. And so now I paste it in. I have the nice table. And what's great, I did this once before, but you can see it's renamed all of my, let's see if we can zoom in there. Let's see. Zoom in right here. Let's see, control. There. Oh, we can't do it. But right here, you can see it's renamed them con main _1, because I've already done this once. It renamed all of them from our original, let's see right here, from our original container to label 1. It renamed them with what each one actually is. This is our main container. This is our header license, our header email. So you could do this through your entire app and save you time. I feel like this is one of the most time consuming things in Power Apps, is renaming all of your controls. And before I move away from Plan Designer, I'm going to go one more thing, and that is I found this website. I'm not sure whose it is. This is someone's website, and they have tons and tons of YAML snippets online. And so if you come in here, you can find YAML snippets, and people are posting these. People are sharing. It says made in Brazil. So whoever
That's it. Rudi Baseo Althoff.
Awesome. So whoever made this is awesome. But I just want to show you how easy this is. So we have this beautiful page. I'm going to press copy snippet. I'm going to come to Power Apps. I'm going to do a new screen just to kind of show how this works. See, new screen, blank. I'm just going to press Control V to paste. Boom. I have an entire page. It's beautiful. It looks so good.
So Isabel, we stopped in our last show with the part, what is my idea regarding component strategy? And I said, the best thing is to get everything from GitHub, from Power Apps tools, and from other sites to one library or app or something like that. And you should not, in every, I would say, app maker could get this YAML code from one library or from one app. So, but I think there is so many possibilities, and and it's here, click and paste, I would say, this should be a strategy for every company to make here strategic app or strategic component library or strategic YAML strategy, I would say.
Exactly. So when you think about pro code devs, right, a lot of times people think we start with a white sheet of paper, a blank sheet of paper. We don't, right? Like we reach out to the internet, we say, oh, this is a great example, and then we pull it in. This is the same idea, right? Or we pull in an SDK. We pull in a different kit that kind of gives us a structure. It's the same thing. We have a nice structure. And now if I want to change this from job title to occupation, I can do that simply. So YAML snippets is a great way to kind of give you that head jump and build an app in 2 days, Isabella. So that's kind of where we're going in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to keep going with Plan Designer?
But I think we should move. Yeah, I think we should go to the next segment. This is regarding about the data behind that. So let's talk about the output. And I know the Plan Designer creates Dataverse tables, and you can use it for data. We created it for a Canvas app, but you can use it for model-driven apps too, and it use different agents as you have shown. So what's a comprehensive solution? And a second question from my side is, do you think Microsoft will create a possibility in the future to integrate SharePoint as a data source, SharePoint list, for example?
So this is going to be where opinion comes in. I do not think Microsoft is going to do SharePoint. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. or it's going to take a little bit of time. All of this is premium right now, so it's going to build Dataverse tables. And to really, I think you can probably pull in a list, or you can ask it to do a canvas and replace it. Or another option, let's go back into that plan. Another option is, let's say, looks good, is to replace it with something already built. So that way you keep the plan, you keep all that work. But there is right here in Canvas, there is the option to replace it with a existing app. So say you built something with SharePoint, or you built something with a SQL backend, or a different backend. You can replace that entire Canvas app there and keep your plan, keep all that work. But for it all to work nice and smooth, I think Dataverse is going to be, this is opinion, I don't know. I think Dataverse is going to be the key.
Yeah, I think so too, because they want people to buy more licenses for Dataverse, and it's a premium connector. So if this is a premium feature, they're going to collect that check on the yearly basis. So I believe it is the same. So this is the old plan designer, right?
Yes,
All right, let's go to the new designer and show the audience what is the difference.
All right, so I have all preview features on. This is a developer environment. So a lot of times, if you don't see this, let's make a plan. Make sure you're in a development environment. Make sure you have all preview features on. Do not do this in production, right? This is not for production yet. But right here, you can click try the new experience. You can click try now, or you can type in vibe.powerapps.com. A lot of people were doing that too. And so this is the new look and feel. And they kind of have some suggestions down here. Oh, they have my previous work. I'm going to show, I have a baked cake once again. So I'm going to put in the same prompt. Oh no, did I close it? I just closed it. Hold on. Of course, I closed it right then. So let's see here. Here it is. Here's my prompt. And this one, I have emojis in. And now we're going to do it the new way, the new experience, we'll call it. You can even click right here to enhance the prompt. If you want to use an AI agent to help you write your prompt, I'd always do this. I don't always do it here, maybe, but I always use AI to help me strategize, write. I use AI to help me write to AI all the time.
Agreed.
And so I'm going to go ahead and click next. And this is even, someone asked me in a session, why do I think this is scary? This is it's awesome and scary at the same time. It's really going to go out there and build a full stack application. It's really cool. It's going to write in JavaScript and JavaScript React. It's building the data model. It's very similar to the same thing. There are different agents here. So there's only one different agent, and that's the code agent. So the process agent has been removed, and this is the code agent. I'm not sure if this is how it's going to be, but this is just how it is now. So there's a requirements agent, data agent, code agent, and a solution agent. It's building out all of that model, and you can kind of see how fast it's going. It's going so fast. It's now starting to write code, right? So this is that vibe.powerapps.com. And once again, Dataverse only right now. There may be ways to replace it, but right now this is Dataverse only. I believe we're in the code agent now. So it went through requirements, data, code. Next is going to be the solution. It'll start building the solution. Fully Copilot first. And to me, just thinking about writing an app and how long it used to take. Like it used to take months, 6 months, full team. And now we're doing it in minutes. What's going to be more important is spending time on the prompts, using AI to prompt. One way that I might do this is actually what I call reverse engineering AI. Take a screenshot of an app you like, put it in an LLM, ask it what prompt you should do to kind of build this out. And so look at that. It's building out this full stack app. This is different than what I did earlier today. So I once again, I built that cake, right? And it's very different from what I did yesterday, earlier today. And that's just how AI works. It's not going to build the same thing every time. Different LLM models are going to build differently. I really don't like this green. I think it's too blinding, but you can kind of see how it's building all this out. And so let me move this here. And
So once you have this generated plan, like what is the next step? Can you build directly from it, or does it require refinement? What do we do with this?
Yeah, so like I said, it's iterative approach, refinement, right? It's going to give you 80% at first, and then you can see the code here, right? So let me kind of walk through a little bit of this in the docs. This is where you're going to have the layout pattern, your colors, your charts. So, and you can continue to talk to Copilot right here. In the sources, let's see, we have components. This is all of the UI components here. So accordion, these are like opening up. We have alerts, badges. All of this was generated from the AI. Let's see, there's also pages. So this is all of our pages in here. We can see the different pet pages, the layouts, index. Now let me go to the one that I already built and just kind of show you. This is the one I built earlier this morning, and it was the same prompt. Right here in the bottom left, there's toggle inline edits, right? So I can click on that, and then I can inactive for a while, save. We'll have to, I did do this morning, but once we click on inline edits, and hopefully it saves fast enough for us to keep going. Let me try the other one while that's going. So let's go back to the preview. Right here is inline edits. So I can click on a piece here and I can change the font. I can make it small. I can, let's see here if let's try again. And once again, this is all in preview. So just kind of remember that. You kind of change it to a gray. Let's try a different color. Let's try a red, see if that actually changes. So it kind of changed to that red. So I'm making these inline edits now, like as I'm working. And this is just, let me find a color that's noticeable. The side, so you can see it change that color in here. And you can ask for changes. No, make this say adopt today. So this is that Copilot first. It knows that you're pointing at this one specific area, and it will make those changes. Now it does take a little bit of time, but that's how it works. And so you can make those inline edits. I want to show you how I designed this one. If it's done saving, you can see everything I did this morning. So I put in the same prompt, and we kind of went in there. I was like, can you add more sample data? And it was like all done. And I kind of went in here. The contrast is way off. I was, let me take off the inline edits. Right here in success stories, I was like, the contrast is off. I was like, I want it to be purple, dark purple, golden yellow. And it started making those edits. When we went through here, the share your story button needs to have a dark purple. So it wasn't the right color. I kind of just kept talking to it. And this is that iterative approach. This is the conversation. It didn't have images for Buddy, Luna, and Mittens. I was like, can you add images to it? And so it started adding those images. And it was so really cool. And what's amazing is this works. Like it starts working right away. So this is the full app, start adoption. I can express interest. I can pick a date. Let's see. I can fill in my name, fill in an email, pick a date. And literally it's going to start writing right there. Interest submitted. It then wrote a row to Dataverse. So that's how you're going to do these edits, is you're going to work with the inline edits here. And then maybe let's try changing something. Instead of saying available pets on the homepage, make it say pets of interest. And so just to kind of keep the flow going, I don't want to like wait. It does take a little bit of time. Let's take a look at this one. No, make it say adopt today. Look at that. While I walked away, came back so we didn't waste any time, it then made those edits right there. And that's how you're going to make those edits.
Really awesome. But Andrew, I have a question since I also have this something that comes into my mind. I'm especially curious because you mentioned the Dataverse in the background. The data modeling aspect is interesting to me. Creating the right Dataverse table is usually one of the harder parts of solution design. How accurate is Plan Designer at getting that foundation right?
How accurate? I'm going to say it's not 100% accurate. That depends on your prompt. So if you drew out your tables first, I think it would be 98% accurate, right? If you drew out your ERT, your entity relationship diagram here, I think it would be very accurate. But what's neat is you can add tables and you can make these edits right here. So you can remove a table, properties, you can create those the relationships. And what's really useful is this happens a lot, is you can pull in existing data tables. So the most used, I believe, existing data table is the user data table. So you can pull that user data table in simply and do that work yourself. So if you're spending the most time here, I do agree that it's not going to be perfect yet. This is still in preview. I think it's getting I'm scared how good it is. But that's how I feel. I'm scared. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So Plan Designer is generally available now, but that's the old version. I'm getting confused. What is going on? Which one is which? How does the users navigate? This is the new one, and this is the preview. Why would they use one or another?
Oh, okay. Right now, learn. That's where I'm at right now. Just learn. The old one, the process agent is in preview, I believe. Everything else is generally available. I don't want to say for fact certain. We probably need to look that up. Anything you're going to do in the new experience, I would say in the vibe.powerapps.com, do not make this production. Microsoft may make a change and it has potential to break your app. Now, for the old version, you can get to your old plans. And what's nice is you can come in here and edit them. So I would say the old version, if you want to do Canvas apps like I showed here, if you want to do the Canvas app like here, I would say that is great. And then what's great is it keeps all your documentation in a solution. I would not do Vibe.PowerApps yet, except for learning. I'm obsessed with learning, but that's where I would be at right now. It's just try it out. See if you like it, if you hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the vibe.powerapps.com, I think it's a great way to test your prompting skills. If your prompting skills is not that great, this is the time to learn. Edit a very little thing, tell it what to do and how to do it, type of thing. And vibe coding in the back after it's generated, we don't really have the Canvas app experience because everything's pro code, right? Afterwards, it's created. You can't really edit it. Or can you edit it after you create this app and come back here? Hey, I should change my mind. Make this button this color instead.
So once again, it's in preview. I'm going to come out with opinions again. I think Microsoft may pull in the Canvas app part next. This is more of the I guess kind of model driven, or like, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's full React based. And during the Power Platform conference, they said Canvas apps was React based in the back end. My assumption is you will be able to edit this completely. You can publish it now. You can save it before you publish. Another thing in the old version is you can print everything to PDF right here in settings. There is a print button. This is the new version, but in the old version, let me see if I can pull it up. You can print everything, which is very nice. But I think everything will be editable. We're still preview. So this was announced. When was this announced? November? Is that right? The Power Apps, the Vibe Power Apps? No, it was announced Halloween. So it was announced late October. Just give it a time. A lot of times with Microsoft, people were like, "This is terrible." I was guilty of this at first with Power BI. When it first came out, I was like, "This is terrible," and then I was like, "Uh-oh, Power BI is now moving from Power BI desktop to Power BI in the cloud." I was like, "Now this is powerful." Think about this in 3 years. That's why I think you should learn this. Yeah.
You didn't need to learn R or other languages when you can prompt your whole Power BI dashboard when. That sounds really good, I think.
Yeah, no. Power BI I was like, it's terrible because it's desktop only. I was like, how do I connect it to everything? And then it became Fabric, and then I kind of moved away from Fabric because it's very complex. There's a lot behind Fabric. You need a professional there, but Power BI has grown so much, and that's where I see this going to.
Yeah. So if I think back at the moment at the first version I saw from the Plan Designer, I think this was really, more as an improvement. So and now, we heard from Microsoft so much different technologies, code apps, Vibe coding, Plan Designer 1, Plan Designer 2, new version. Yeah. What do you think regarding to this experience, and what are the improvements or features for the future? What way or which way we go in the future?
If I was going to give advice to Microsoft, I want to come in here to the code. I want to download this, and I want to pull it into Visual Studio. I want to be able to pull this into Visual Studio, which you could probably go in there, copy, paste, copy. You could probably do it, right, manually. But I want to pull this all into Visual Studio. Once I have completely vibe coded it, I want to save it somewhere, have a backup solution. I want to have, save it somewhere on my own, on some hard drive. I want to save it in the cloud, GitHub. And then I want to be able to literally come in here and make those edits. I know a lot of people, the React is a little intimidating, but it's getting easier and easier. And as soon as you have AI to help you, like, you can understand this. Like, it's commented out. This is the layout pattern, the top navigation. This is your CSS kind of. And then you have your font. Like, you'll start to learn these things. I know it's a little intimidating when people say React and JavaScript, but that's what AI is here for.
That's also true, but this brings me to my next point. Looking at the bigger picture, how does Plan Designer fit into Microsoft's vision of democratizing app development, and are we really getting closer to true citizen development? Making people less afraid of React, for example.
Yeah. So I do think there's going to be. I think right now. So Shane Young, right? He did a poll. What's the most used data source Power Apps? And it's always been this way, and it's always been winning. No matter how many MVPs want to disagree, I'm an MVP. How many they want to disagree? SharePoint is the number one used data source for Power Apps right now. So and a lot of people, it said low code is dead. Canvas apps with SharePoint backend are still the number one use case. I see there's reason to keep learning there, and there's reasons to keep learning here. And maybe at some point they will combine together. Hopefully that answers your question.
I have one point to this. So what I think what the future will change is the companies will have cases. That means how many colleagues or people will work with my app, and when you will have a break even, and this break even is to pay for Dataverse or for premium license, or not. And so if you said we have only, for example, Canvas apps solution, or really easy solutions, what we can build on SharePoint base, when the company said, oh no, this is not a business case. After this first business case with Dataverse, they want to move, but it must be I would say an calculation. It must be in calculation,
100%.
because you have monthly costs, and this must be calculated for every company.
I agree with. I feel like, so this is opinion again. I feel like small companies, let's say you have 10 people, premium may actually be beneficial. But as soon as you get into like that mid-tier, like, okay, we have 5,000 users and paying for 5,000 users of Copilot and Power Apps Premium, that may not be useful. But then there's like, so it's kind of like that curve. And then once you have like a lot of users, 20,000, like these giant companies, maybe it's beneficial for them too. So I feel like small companies can benefit from going premium. The mid companies may have to do that ROI, the return on investment. And then big companies, they maybe already have enough money to do full Power Apps Premium for everyone. I think there is a calculation. You're right.
Okay, let us move to our fourth segment for today. Let's get practical. What are some real world scenarios for you?
So the way I see this is, as an architect, as someone who used to build a lot, but I've kind of stepped back and I'm helping other people build. That's the biggest thing. And I'm managing lots of people in different departments and different agencies. So, right. And so I'm managing all of them. And how can I help them if, okay, someone puts me on a call, I need help with my Power App. Well, I have no clue what your Power App is. If I can look up, give me 15 minutes to look over your plan. That's what's very beneficial to me. So it's beneficial for the architect to help their makers, to help train them, to help work with them on their issues, but also for the low code makers, right? So any app that you want to build, I think, is a viable solution. As soon as you get into something like SQL, like I want my data to be on SQL on-prem, maybe Power Apps Planner is not a good fit. If you want to stay in SharePoint, or you have very specific requirements, maybe Planner is not beneficial. I did see Reza reach out to a custom API, I believe, on the Plan Designer, on the generative pages, I mean. So we're going to have to see that in the future. Like, say you have some kind of custom API or connection that you want to reach out to. How well would that work with Plan Designer? But I think for simple Power Apps, which is probably most of the Power Apps, there's fewer giant Power Apps. I think it's a viable solution with how fast you can come up with this and then show your C class or the customer who's requesting this. It's amazing. Like,
yeah, I can definitely see the value of it, especially coming from UX design, user stories, user personas. This is something developers don't really talk about, or citizen developers would really think about, oh, what are the different user roles? And each user roles have different permissions. And from your experience teaching Power Platforms, like, what advice would you give to makers who want to get the most of Plan Designer?
right now, it's learn. I'm biased. Learn because I love learning AI, and I'm very pro AI. I love AI. I use it daily, 20, 50 times a day. I'll go to the grocery store and take a picture of something. Is this healthy? Like, I don't know.
That same thing with cosmetics. Is this ingredients bad? It's gonna block my pores. Am I gonna break out from this? I do that all the time.
Yeah. So I'm very pro AI. There are people who are skeptical. So right now it's learning, it's adoption, taking it slow. Don't just go out there and build out this big project just yet. Take it slow, get used to it. Do many small wins at first. Do a small win, and then after you get a bunch of small wins and you get a portfolio, then think about doing something much larger with AI. I'd be careful with anything with like PII. So personal identifiable information. Be careful about putting that into any AI. That's from me working with the government. Unless you're in like the government cloud and you have no worries about that. But you need to think about the security things. I think Marcel would say that about, governance. Be careful on what you put into AI. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Absolutely agreeing here. Now comes my favorite topic. What about governance and best practices? That's always my point, right? When we come, what about governance? When teams start generating solutions with AI, how should they think about quality control, security, and maintainability from your perspective?
So the first thing that's great about this is it puts it in a solution. There's so many Power Apps, Power Automates that are not in a solution. You're losing so much functionality. You're not backing them up correctly. You can't move it easily from environment to environment, right? Your ALM is much more difficult. So that is wonderful. From a governance, all the documentation, like you were saying, can you upload images or information about that? Let's see, new plan. But so right here, so all that documentation that you add to it is great there. And that's kind of where I am with. I think this is beneficial for all governance. It's going to look great in the COE, in the Center of Excellence. You're going to have solutions that you can kind of look at and understand. There's not going to be the Wild West of 5 Power Automates that are on the same solution, but they're not in a solution. So kind of working through that and being careful with what you put into AI, I think are all good best practices for governance. Did you have any concerns or anything you wanted to add about governance to it?
No, not at the moment. I am normally always called when the thing's already crashed, so it's okay.
Like one thing I do have a concern is people building all of the plan designer. It's creating more space in Dataverse, right? Do you expect the Dataverse capacity environment is going to expand for a tenant environment, I guess?
So that's a good point. I would recommend always starting in a developer environment. That's kind of where all your plans should be in developer environment right now. And even like your own personal development environment. That way you are not accidentally creating. So when you do it over and over, right, it creates tables. It might do _1, and like that would be very bad for your production environment. Always build in a development environment first.
Perfect. I think we're going to move on to the Q&A. I've got one question.
We need, right, time. Can you add third-party YAML code like Glassmorphism templates or PCF components into the vibe code plan? Ask Carl.
That's a good question. I don't know about that yet. I think we should suggest to Microsoft the next move forwards. That's what Microsoft likes, right? Is they get the customer feedback and then give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down when you're building and be like, I really wanted to do this. Give them that feedback. I think the more feedback we give Microsoft, the better this is going to get. As I talk with the Copilot team and everybody, they love that feedback and they want to hear from the MVPs, the users, like, what do you want? What do you not want? So I don't think you can add like Glassmorphism. Maybe, I don't know. I know you can in Canvas, right? So if we were in the Canvas, we could come in here and do the edits. But in the vibe coding,
let's just do a little demo real quick. Make the homepage with Glassmorphic background. All right, I guess you kind of already have it for this one a little bit.
Oh yeah, it did. So let's see here. It looks like this is, for some reason it's cut me off. Let me get to one. Can I right here? There we go. It is kind of Glassmorphism. How can
maybe another page. Do they have one? I don't know.
Here or success stories?
Yeah, let's try that.
Another thing that I saw at the Power Platform conference is they reached out and they were like, this company just said, rebrand it with my company name. I don't want to name out companies, but just be like, rebrand it with Microsoft Colors. I saw that go into Copilot and do the UI UX of the entire app. That was really cool to see the entire app rebranded with company logo, colors, all of that, just by a simple prompt.
You need no theming anymore.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Andrew, this has been incredibly insightful. You showed me some things I don't know about. Very cool about renaming the controls. This is very awesome. So where do you see Plan Designer heading in the next year or two? I know you talked about a little bit, but just give a little general conclusion. Where do you think it's heading?
So the new one, we need Power Automate to work, which it works a little bit. We need Power BI to work, right? Like, this is not just Power Apps, in my opinion. This is also automatically building Copilot agents based on your data tables. This is automatically making Power Automates or agent flows, or so it's this big picture, not Power Apps only. A lot of people call this Plan Designer Power Apps. I call this the Power Platform Plan Designer. It's full solution, not Power Apps only. And that's where I see it going.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see the back end code when that's ready, when we're able to edit it. Should we move on to the next question?
Yep. What should the Power Platform community be excited about these AI-powered design tools continue to evolve?
When should they be excited? Was that the question?
What is the best practices to learn and to move forward here?
Okay, so my opinion is hands-on. This is opinion. Hands-on, get yourself a developer tenant, just go in there. And that's how I learn, is hands-on. I do a lot of reading, and I'm a YouTuber. I don't know if we've said that. There are great YouTubers out there. Reza, right? He works for the CAT team. His YouTubes are amazing. I would kind of watch the YouTubers and then get hands-on with the things and start testing it out. Get in a developer environment and start building.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Do you think it would be completed for this Glassmorphic?
I don't know. I have it's thinking hard, so it may take I mean, feel free to keep asking questions. I don't know how many we're at, but this could take 15 minutes. It could take 1 minute. So yeah.
Keep on prompting. Anyone, any questions out there?
Nope.
Otherwise, here you see the.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it is.
There
Oh,
is.
wow.
There was.
Yeah, it's not done thinking, but oh, there it is.
Ah.
So,
But things take some time, right?
Yeah, that is cool.
Ooh.
And build complete successfully with no errors. Yeah. Yeah, you could be like do a pop-up and then make it Glassmorphism, so you kind of focus on the pop-up. This is prompt engineering at its core, right? So I'm not the best at this. I'm showing everybody. This is how I am. I'm showing everybody. Now I expect you guys to make things better.
It works. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. For our audience, we'll include links to Andrew's YouTube channel. You've already seen this, LinkedIn and blog in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the M365 show, and I think we'll see you next time, right?
only one important part from my side. So we have not planned another show, but we will plan the next show in February next year, because you will get a small ad from us from the M365 Con. 59 speakers are with us, and this is in the 2nd and 3rd January week, with free workshops, with paid workshops, with so much expert sessions. Isabel will stay where Fortu and I and a lot of other speakers from all over the world. Join the M365 Coms and see you next year.
Right.
I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Wonderful New Year.
You too.
Happy holidays.
Welcome.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future.